it do, everybody? Welcome to Variety Conversation. I am Lady Walker. Oh my word. Here we go a doggone game. Here we go again. 38-year-old Willie Brown Jr., a black man, father of four, was found hanging on a basketball rim at Countryside Community Park in South Sacramento, California. Y'all, there have been several black men hanged this year, and they all have been ruled a suicide. Get it? Black men hanged on a tree or basketball rim, and all ruled immediately by police to be a suicide with no further investigation. Ain't that a no? I am not falling for this ruling because the truth ain't in this bush shiggity. This has the smell of one of those domestic extremist groups or even a popo. According to a report, Sac Metro Fire Department Station 51 responders arrived on scene. The responders who cut Willie down from the rim performed measures to keep him breathing, and he was transported to the hospital. And after 8 days of being on a ventilator, he was taken off life support. The Sacramento Sheriff's Department has been unable or unwilling to provide any major pieces of information to the public, to the media, or to the family. The incident was immediately ruled a suicide without any further investigation. Both the family and the community surrounding them feel the circumstances around Willie's death is highly suspicious. Willie Brown Sr. stated, "I asked him," he's talking about the detective, "to describe the scene to me, and he stated that he wasn't there at the time, but the responding officers taped off the area. They said they found the cell phone and the knife at the scene and then placed the items in Willie's vehicle." He didn't mention anything about finding a bucket, a ladder, or anything else that would have been used to commit the act. He then stated that the officers cleaned up the crime scene and took down the crime scene tape. Y'all, why? Why would they place Willie's cell phone and knife at the scene in Willie's vehicle? I got to tell you, that smells like a freaking skunk. Oh yes, that's exactly what it smells like. With no form of assistance, such a ladder, step stool, or other types of lift, it would be extremely difficult for one person to get up to the top of a 10-foot regulation hoop. Yet, according to Willie's father, who has been speaking directly with the Sacramento Sheriff's Department, there was no mention of anything found on site other than a few of Willie's personal belongings. The answers, or rather lack thereof, from the Sacramento Sheriff's Department left Willie's family with even more questions. Wouldn't you think? Okay. Why would they not have bagged the phone for evidence? If nothing was found on scene that would have assisted Willie in getting to the top of the rim, what made them so certain it was a suicide? Something just doesn't add up, said Willie's mother, Sandra Brown, when she spoke at his vigil. And I am demanding a thorough investigation of what happened to my son. The boy that I know couldn't have done anything like this to himself. The Brown family does not believe the Sacramento Sheriff's Department has handled this case correctly, and they are now requesting a full investigation by the FBI Hate Crimes Unit into the death of Willie Brown Jr. You shall always request a full investigation when the death of a loved one, especially from hanging, okay? Anywho, the case is now reopened. In a study conducted by the National Center for Biotechnology Information over a 10-year span, there was 52% increase in suicide by hanging. Even with that increase, the statistics show that hanging makes up only 3.1% of reported suicides overall. Yet, placing a sharper focus on the statistics, studies show that black men are 60% less likely to kill themselves than non-black men, and that hanging is not to the preferred method. I gotta tell you, it is possible that the cops know who did it, but they refuse to share that knowledge because they are covering up for the one or ones who did it. Could it be a cop? Or a white supremacist, KKK, or what about another domestic terrorist groups? It is every freaking bit possible. Anywho, According to an FBI report, now this is some years back, the KKK, white supremacists, and other right-wing extremists are infiltrating the law enforcement communities, local, state, and federal wise. You hear me, y'all? Oh, yes. White supremacists, KKK, and other right-wing extremists, they are infiltrating, oh yes, the law enforcement communities, local, state, and federal wise. They are just everywhere. So, for the police to investigate the police or itself, that means not much is going to get done. Cover up is their game, and the truth will be hiding like a needle in a haystack. The FBI, even though white supremacists are there too, needs to handle this case so that it will not go in the favor of those demons. Again, I say that even in the FBI, there are white supremacists. You just never know. The truth may not even be told there. But still, the popo does not need to investigate itself. Listen, y'all, I am going to say this until it need not be said anymore. Don't be so quick to take the police at their words, because they are known to dress a lie up to look like the honest truth. Why do they immediately say the death of a black man or even a black woman was suicide? Remember Sandra Bland? Oh my word, what are they hiding? I will tell you what they are hiding. They are hiding the doggone truth. Black people, it behooves us to not be so naive to believe everything law enforcement tells us. This case looks and smells more like lynching than the claim of suicide. Many deem that there is a war against black people. You never know what these demonic terrorist groups are cooking up behind the scene. If we keep accepting the hanging of a black man or even a black woman or a black child, they are going to keep getting away with it. According to David Bethel, this is a blatant lynching. They are not saying anything because the police might be involved. And you can say that again, okay? And again, and again. Color Coded says, a Caucasian posted, they are going to keep calling it a suicide. And why don't black men deal with or lynch the ones who is lynching them? Even their own can see it. Gavin Frederick says, if this has been going on for so long, why do we always just talk instead of killing each other? We should be doing some action for ourselves. At least die for something as opposed to dying for nothing. Yep. D-Cry says cameras are everywhere now. No excuse for not finding the perpetrators. Jerry Tyrone Hunt says, what is highly suspicious is a melanated man hanging from a basketball rim, a game melanated people dominate. Sounds like a message is being sent to me. What is highly suspicious is the police, without investigation, calling it a suicide with no clear evidence how Willie accomplished it. What is highly suspicious is the police are willing to call all of these hangings of melanated men in the USA, in the South, a suicide. Melanated people need to start traveling in packs, armed as evil people are preying on us. That's true, but here's the thing. Sometimes melanated people are not always able to travel in packs. That's impossible to travel in packs at all times. Because there are people who work on night shift. There are people who are coming from different places and where they are by themselves. So that's the idea thing. But traveling in packs, that is never going to happen. But hey, I guess you can say we need to make sure we got something with us to pow, pow, pow those bastards when they prey upon us. Mary Fletcher says, this same incident happened to another brother, Leonard Lacey, years back. The police did not investigate it, but called it a suicide. Mr. Lacey was found hanging from a swing set in a white community. My brothers and sisters, we have to come together and look out for one another. It is obvious we are not going to get any help from the law. United we stand, divided we fall. Flip Mode 00 Squad says, the difference between suicide and lynching, suicide is always done in hiding. Lynching is done by others so the world can see their work and know they are still here watching and patrolling. Sir Emmett says, I am just tired of my people going out without taking one or two of these demons with them. If I gotta go, so be it. It's just my time, but I would not be going to the afterworld alone. You can believe that. AMB 786 says, the lynching have never stopped, and the corpulent American Pussfield government, police departments, media, and complacent citizens, get it? Complacent citizens allowed the continuation of these atrocious crimes. Now, the media, of course, is not going to showcase everything. They are just not going to do it. They will show you just a little bit. But really, love, you have got to do your investigation. There are much more information out there than what the media is putting out there for us to know. Okay, doke? Thoughts become things says lynchings of black men have never stopped. Law enforcement stopped reporting them as lynchings and began listing them as suicides in 1981 so that the FBI won't take over the investigations. Okay. Iban Gov says white supremacists in blue cleaned up the evidence so as not to incriminate themselves. Exactly. I believe they do that a whole lot. Okay. They are going to clean themselves up. That's why sometimes they do not have those body cams on. And if they do, believe me, before that information get out, that video gets out to the public, they will have edited that and cleaned that up to make sure that they are not charged with the crime or implicated with the crime. Derek Rayford says, I am tired of seeing and hearing all of these stories about our people getting murdered, and we collectively stay silent. We need to collectively stand up and defend each other. Arm up, people. The murderers are here. Even if it hasn't happened to one of our family members, we still need to stand up, speak up, and not remain silent, because remaining silent is not going to get you anywhere. This crap is going to continually to be, because we are not speaking up. Maybe one or two, but we need more than one or two, because this crap is happening a lot. It has been happening. It's just that with social media and everything, we are able to see and hear about it more. So let's not sit back and do nothing. Let's do what we can. Okay, let's do what we can to make sure this crap is being exposed for what it is. Sergeant Tyson says, Jim Crow laws will never go away. It's hidden within the current white supremacy laws. Exactly. Sharon Bush-Ong says, it's sad that our tax dollars go towards aiding police to kill our people. The police call it suicide because it's an organized crime. The NTYR says, all we are doing is complaining every day about the same BS. How about organizing? Create your own security or militia force. Every single day, the same crap, people. Show that we are men and women that are a force to be reckoned with. Stop being soft and get strong. Last but not least, Vanessa MW11 says, anytime I've ever heard of a black man hanging himself, it never made sense to me. Taking your life from your family is traumatic enough for them. Why would someone choose such a method that would leave so much more disbelief and trauma? Just the history of the hangings to me make it seem like something a black man or a woman would never do. I mean, unless he wanted to inflict as much pain on those left behind as possible. But in what world does that happen? Every black man or woman that's found hanging should immediately be thoroughly investigated by police. This needs to become an issue we speak about in the political sphere so that it can one day become widespread policy. Yes, I will concur with that. Anytime there is a hanging, especially of a black man, black woman, or a black child, it needs to be investigated. Don't believe the hype that every time you see a black person hang that it is a suicide. For them to readily say it's a suicide, yes, that's reason enough to want an investigation. Because for the most part, I would say, me personally, I believe, yeah, it was done by the hand of a white supremacist, KKK, or even the police, or either another domestic terrorist group. Okay? Anyway, enough said. If you like this channel, go ahead and subscribe, like, and comment. And also, hit the notification bell so that you can be notified when I upload a new video. Also, feel free to share your perspective on said topic. And in the meantime, be lovers. Y'all come back to visit me when you can. Okie doke. Ciao, ciao.